Piano Sage, coming to you from my piano studio in West Michigan. I am a piano teacher and a professional musician. I love teaching music and sharing what I know and get people playing because that's what makes people happy. So this video specifically is on how to play Dead Flowers. Rolling Stones, also other people play it. I don't think they wrote it, but it's a good song. So one of the reasons I'm making this video is for my student. So if you want to learn a song, go ahead and let me know, and I'll make a video for you or give you an individual lesson over FaceTime. You can find me on Ann Bell Piano Studio on Facebook. Also, I have a Cash App, $Piano Sage. I always welcome tips. As well as my YouTube channel is Piano Sage, where you're at. I will be putting out videos all the time. Please keep and subscribe. All right, so Dead Flowers. So I gave a tutorial video before on how to arrange songs and figure it out. So this video is for people who know chords and how to arrange. I'm just going to show you how I do it. Now the way that I'm doing it, for two ways to show. One is being able to play it by yourself. So you want to be able to do that because you're a pianist, but you also want to be able to play it with a band. So as I said before, how you play songs with a band is different than how you play it solo. So for Dead Flowers, let's go over the form, and I apologize for my chalk, it's kind of a running theme. So the form of Dead Flowers, and we are in the key of D. Now when I play it, I like to do it in E just because it fits my voice better, but I'm going to play it in D for you guys today so you can see exactly how it looks. So it's in the key of D major. And you're going to basically just use 1, 4, and 5. So if this is where knowing your primary triads is really helpful because you can transpose it easily, but also you practice going to those chords really well. If you're not comfortable with it, go check out those videos on those chords and practice, and then come back to it. So the form of Dead Flowers, it's pretty straightforward. It goes verse 1, then it goes chorus. Actually, I'm going to do it like this so I can write the chords next to. All right, well, introduction. Don't forget the intro. All right, verse 1, chorus. Then it's just verse 2, chorus. And I'm just going to put it over here because it's the same chord progression. So we don't need to think about, don't reinvent the wheel every time. Learn the pattern. Figure out how many patterns go in the song. Usually it's only 1 or 2, sometimes 3. So then we're going to do a solo. Oh, before the chorus, there's also the pre-chorus. How could I forget that? So pre-chorus is just 2 lines, the Take Me Down, Little Susie, Take Me Down. And then it goes into the You Can Send Me Dead Flowers. So that's what's called the pre-chorus. It just kind of leads into the chorus, but it's not quite the chorus. So after you do the pre-chorus, I'm going to put a PC next to that. Then the chorus, you're going to do the solo. I keep having a new chalk. The solo is just going to be a verse chord progression. So I will make a note, it's just a verse. You want to make sure you map that out. Then it goes to the pre-chorus. I'll put PC for pre-chorus. Then chorus. So there's only 2 verses. And there's only the pre-chorus and the chorus. And then you can end it however you want. I like to do a little, what's called a tag at the end, where I repeat the last line, just kind of give it a little tag. So the introduction is just the basic chord progression of the song. And you're just going to repeat it twice. So the main chord progression is D, or tonic, A, or dominant, or the 5 chord. Then it goes to the 4 chord, G, then it goes to D. It does that 4 times because there are 4 lines. The introduction just does this chord progression twice. The pre-chorus has 2 lines. It just goes to the dominant, so A, and then ends on D. Does that twice. Anytime you can write shorthand so you can see the pattern faster, you're going to learn the song faster. So instead of writing out the whole thing, I might write out the lyrics, but I might write out just the form with the chords, just so I can map it out better. Then the chorus has 4 lines. 3 lines are the same. So it goes D, leading, well, you end on D, then you go to G, then you go to A, D, sorry. You just go G to G. What am I thinking? And then it does this little thing at the end of each line of the chorus where it goes to D. You'll see it says D sus 4, and then D sus 2. Those chords are just adding the fourth degree of the 5-finger pattern or scale, and then when it says 2, just add that second guy. So when I do my you can send me the flowers in the morning, then I might do a little, because just to kind of add that little, or I might play the whole triad and just kind of add that little fill with those sus chords. So it does that right there 3 times. Then the won't forget to put roses on your grave. You're just going to go D, A, G, D. And that does that once. So that is the chord progression. So this just has 3 patterns. The verse, the introduction is the same as the verse. It just does it twice instead of 4 times. The pre-chorus is just A to D twice. Then the chorus just goes, it lands on D, moves up to G, goes to D, does this little guy at the end, and then it does just the solo, which is just the chord progression of the verse. Please reference my video on how to arrange and write solos to help you craft a solo for this part. And then it does pre-chorus, chorus, tag. So the textures that I'm creating with this song, because it's a Stone song, it's kind of honky-tonk, and this is how I'm going to do it. First, I'm going to show you how to do it when you're by yourself. There's chalk everywhere. So what I like to do in this song is just to kind of break up the chords progression to where it's like different in the verses. So I'm going to block the first little bit when I play it. When you're sitting there in your simple chair. Just kind of give it like a start slow. And then when I go to the pre-chorus is when I start on my jump bass. So since it's kind of a honky-tonk rock song, if you're playing this by yourself or just with a guitar player, no bass player, I would suggest doing that jump bass. And what I like to do with this is I like to shimmy. So a shimmy or a tremolo is where you just kind of take 2 notes of the chord and you shake. And you want to use your wrist to do it. And how I voice it is a lot of times I like to use 6s or 3rds when I'm doing shimmies. But I do it based on what chord is afterwards. So since I want to go from A to a D chord, I can easily move this way and create a cool texture with the shimmy. And I don't have to do a bunch of moving. So, Susie, take me down. See, I'm just kind of wiggling. So then I go to the the chorus. You don't want to sing. You don't want to play a lot of stuff while they're singing. So I might just be dead flowers in the morning. Then the lick, bass line. Dead flowers by me. And then when I go to the tag, I block it again. But I won't forget to put roses in your grave. All right, so that's the basics of what I decided to do for this song. If I'm playing it by myself, it's a way just to jam with people. People like to sing along to the song. It's a great song just to have in your repertoire to pull out. If you're playing with a guitar player, they can add cool textures. You can just block things or just do that jump bass. The right hand, I like to do just blocked chords. Maybe I fill in. You can always do licks with blues scales or a lot of sliding if you're doing honky-tonk sound. Sliding from the major to the minor helps that kind of sound. But remember, try not to do it while they're singing. Do it in between. All right, so now that's how you do it as a solo. And I'm going to play it for you after this video as a solo. Now, last thing. If I'm playing this with a band, with a bass player and a drummer, I'm not going to do the jump bass. Maybe just with the pre-chorus. So adding the texture. But I think actually a really cool organ sound is cool, and I wrote one for my students playing this. So my my keyboard can sound kind of like a Hammond B3 with a Leslie, which is kind of a organ sound of the 60s. I want to do a tutorial on organs, how to write organ parts, but I'm just going to give you a little bit of it. When you do organ parts, you don't want to fill in completely. That's too much. You want to stay close together, and you want to figure out what notes of the chords share each other and move around that. And from there, you can make little counter melodies. So what I'm going to be having my student do, and I think I would do it in a band, is I might play this keyboard on an organ and play this with a piano, so I can do little fills with the piano. The organ part I'm writing for this is I start with a third, and then I go to a fourth, that's an A major chord, then the G chord, and then I keep the D and move down. So when you're sitting there in your silk upholstered chair. So the organ is a great way to like fill in and fill in those empty spaces without being too much. Just remember, don't play the full chord. Like fourths, thirds, stay closely together. My student will be making an organ solo, which is another great way to add that texture to it and kind of break it up so it's not just piano, which is something I probably would do with a band. When we get to the chorus, we're leaving out the organ because it's about coming in, less is more sometimes. So I want to thin out the texture in the pre-chorus. I'm going to keep it just piano and jump bass. Then when the chorus comes in, perhaps the guitar player would play, and I might just block the chords and then bring in the organ at the end. But this time I'm going to change the voicing. Instead of doing a third for D, I'm going to play a fifth. But I won't forget to put roses on your grave, and then move down. So see how I kind of noodled around in different inversions of the chord and stayed close together. So that is kind of an aspect that makes up a good organ part. Just remember to always listen and hear what the other people are doing. Don't try to do too much. Fill in where it's empty. Hear where different textures that you can create and have fun with it. All right, so I think that is a good exercise in how to do Dead Flowers. Please enjoy my rendition of Dead Flowers. Thank you.